Every Jamaican knows this feeling. A loved one falls sick. You rush them to the hospital, and then the waiting begins. Hours pass. Machines don't work. Medicine runs out. And at that point you wonder, will they be safe? Or will their system fail? This isn't just someone else's problem. It's reality. The reality of a nation that sings with strength and resilience, yet struggles when sickness strikes. Yes, there are giants like Kingston Public Hospital, the largest in the Caribbean. Yes, Victoria Jubilee brings more than 8,000 babies into the world every year. That's a reason to be proud. But what's the use of pride when mothers wait endless hours for care? What's the use of numbers when rural families must travel miles, praying their child makes it alive to the hospital doors? Over 98% of those who watch our videos are not subscribers. Please help us reach 1,000. And here's the hardest truth. Billions of dollars are being poured into new projects, renovations, and high-tech equipment. But are these promises really for the people, or are they just another story that sounds good on the news? Every year, the government announces new plans, new hospitals, new machines, new promises. Billions of Jamaican dollars are spoken of in Parliament, but when you step inside the emergency room, you still see the same broken beds, the same leaking roofs, the same overcrowded halls. So where is the money really going? In 2023, over 14 billion Jamaican dollars was allocated to healthcare development. Part of it went to Kingston Public Hospital, where plans include new operating theaters and a modern diagnostic wing. Another portion was set aside for Spanish Town Hospital, struggling daily with overcrowding. Officials promised state-of-the-art CT scanners, ventilators, dialysis machines, and critical upgrades for maternity wards. These are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Without a dialysis machine, a patient with kidney failure has days to live. Without ventilators, a child with pneumonia may not survive the night. Without proper theaters, surgeons are forced to delay life-saving operations. But deadlines are missed. Projects drag on. The new Cornwall Regional Hospital upgrade, initially planned to be finished years ago, has cost billions more than expected and still isn't fully operational. Scandals of corruption, contracts given to friends, and equipment sitting idle because staff were never trained, these are the shadows behind the promises. And while politicians cut ribbons on half-finished buildings, ordinary Jamaicans are left waiting, sometimes until it's too late. Jamaica has some of the most dedicated medical professionals in the Caribbean, yet too many of them work under unbearable pressure. One nurse at Spanish Town Hospital describes nights where 2 nurses are left to watch over more than 60 patients. Doctors share stories of being forced to improvise because the necessary tools were never delivered. Their passion is strong, but their resources are weak. Many leave the country, chasing better pay and conditions abroad. Every time a doctor migrates, it is not just a career lost, it is a piece of Jamaica's future stolen. And what about the patients? Families sit for hours on hard benches, waiting for results that never come. Parents must decide whether to buy medication privately, at crushing prices, or watch their loved ones go untreated. Some even borrow money at high interest, just to afford a test that could mean the difference between life and death. In Jamaica, every election comes with promises. Promises of modern hospitals, promises of new equipment, promises of healthcare for all. But after the speeches fade, what remains? Broken contracts, half-finished projects, and citizens asking the same question over and over. Who is responsible for this failure? The Cornwall Regional Hospital scandal is one of the most infamous. The renovation, first announced years ago, has exploded in cost, billions more than planned, and yet the building remains unfinished. Allegations of mismanagement and inflated contracts haunt the project, while patients are forced to travel hours for care that should have been available at home. And it is not the only case. Across the island, there are whispers of contracts handed to friends, supplies purchased at triple their market price, and equipment left unused because no training programs were ever created. Each dollar lost to corruption is a life put at risk. When questions are raised, investigations stall, reports are buried, politicians deflect blame, pointing fingers instead of accepting responsibility. Meanwhile, the people pay twice, once through their taxes and again when they must buy private care because the public system has failed them. When the public hospitals fail, those with money find another way out. Behind the glass doors of private clinics, the story is very different. No overcrowding, no endless waiting, no broken machines. Here, patients are greeted with clean beds, modern technology, technology, and specialists ready to act. For some Jamaicans, private healthcare feels like salvation, but for most, it is nothing more than a dream they can never afford. A single MRI scan in a private hospital can cost 40,000 to 60,000 Jamaican dollars, a price far out of reach for a family already struggling with basic expenses. Surgeries can climb into the hundreds of thousands. For the wealthy, these numbers mean safety. For the working class, they mean debt, despair, or simply giving up on treatment altogether. And yet even families who can barely afford it often turn to private care. Why? Because they cannot trust the public system to deliver. Parents borrow money, sell possessions, or rely on relatives abroad just to secure treatment in time. But what happens when even the private escape is not enough? When the rich fly overseas for treatment and the poor are left behind? In the next chapter, we explore the phenomenon of medical migration, both patients and doctors leaving Jamaica in search of survival. Every year, hundreds of Jamaica's best doctors leave the island. Some never return. Some are gone within months of graduation. Why? Because the system they inherit is broken, equipment fails, hospitals are underfunded, and corruption blocks every attempt to improve care. And as doctors leave, so do the patients, those who can afford it, flying overseas for life-saving treatment. The phenomenon is called brain drain, and Jamaica is bleeding talent. Surgeons, specialists, even nurses are taking jobs in Canada, the US, and the UK. Imagine a country producing medical experts, only to watch them vanish into systems where their skills are appreciated and compensated. Every doctor who leaves is a gap in care for thousands of Jamaicans who cannot afford private hospitals. For those who can pay, treatment abroad is often the only solution. A heart surgery in the US can cost hundreds of thousands, but it guarantees equipment, expertise, and timely intervention. This migration creates a vicious cycle. Public hospitals lose staff, quality drops, citizens lose trust, and the wealthy escape to private clinics or foreign care. Meanwhile, the gap between rich and poor grows even wider, leaving the most vulnerable Jamaicans to face the system's failures alone. Jamaica's healthcare system is at a crossroads. The question isn't just about money or equipment, it's about survival, trust, and hope. Can a country with limited resources rebuild a system that serves everyone, not just the wealthy? The stakes are life and death for thousands of Jamaicans every year. To fix this, it's not enough to buy machines. Nurses and support staff must be empowered and respected. Funding must be transparent, efficient, and consistent, not a lottery based on politics or luck. Some initiatives show promise. Local communities are raising funds for small clinics. Partnerships with international NGOs bring equipment and training. Telemedicine is connecting rural patients with specialists in Kingston or abroad. Each step proves that recovery is possible, but only if Jamaicans demand change and fight for it together. Leave a comment below with your thoughts, whether you support the project, question it, or have something to add from your own experience. And if you want to keep following the real stories that shape Jamaica, make sure to subscribe, because the future doesn't just happen, it's made by those who stay informed.